Hey everybody. Sorry I'm a bit late. It's like the universe didn't want me to stream this morning for some reason. Hey everybody. Sorry I'm a bit late. Uh-oh, and now I'm getting echoes. Just a second. Okay. Yeah, so case in point, but I don't want to dwell on it too much. Let's just move on to programming. Let's see. Okay, so yesterday we worked a bit. Oh, hey, Ice Boy. Nice to see you. How are you doing today? Typos. But yeah, so yesterday we were starting to work on the selection phase, and okay, so we can't actually run the game because we still got some errors. Mostly I just need to update some of these objects. Okay, so first off, we need to subscribe to the select phase change so that we can up our, like, know when this code should run. So I just need an event listener for that. Glad to hear you're doing good. I'm fine now. I had a bit of a crazy morning, but that's alright. Seems like par for the course lately. Okay, so do I have... I forget what I called it. Okay, so yeah, we want to wait for this because we want to wait until this choose monster phase is entered. Let's change this to on phase change. Okay, this is the event I want. Okay. So I have the state. So I'll just get state dot voice phase. So I just need to check if we're in choose monster. Okay, so we need to clear out this value just to signal that nothing's chosen yet. Okay, so I need to listen to an input button. I don't think I've actually used any input yet, so I might need to figure out how I want to do that. And then the rest of these is just making it lowercase mostly. And then we'll want to send an event there. Okay, but let's get rid of all the errors first. Okay, something else here. Oh yeah, so it's just because I made these lowercase to match the rest of the game. Oops. Okay, so I think it's compiling now. Need to update my avatar. I thought I had changed it from that. Okay, so yeah, so now we're in choose monster, which is good. We see. Okay, so I haven't added back in the choice state, which I guess I should do that now. Into my debug link over here. Click, current selection choices. Okay, this actually won't show up here. Okay, the reason is because the current selection choices aren't in the global game context, they're only in the selection phase context. So yeah, right now this will just show 0, 0, 0, and even though monster should be -1 at this point, it's not going to show up because this is actually using a different object than the rest of the game. How should I deal with that? Okay, let's just do something quick and dirty, and hopefully it won't be too inefficient. So if game link game phase container sub phase container is play sub controller, then I'd set choices to the context for this container, which I can't even get from here. I guess I should change that for this reason. Oh, it's protected. Why? No real reason to make that protected, I don't think. Maybe the disposables. Okay, so anyway, okay, so this is gonna be... Okay, let's do it this way. So if... Oh, I can't just check if it's null. Because since this is serialized, Unity will insert a value there. Put it to that. Private, Boolean, have voices. Let's change that. So let's invert it to need choices, and then I'll just set this to true. I don't need all this stuff. Find the 7 key. Alright, so I think this should work. And now it won't run all the time. Oh, except I do need to set need choices to false once we've actually gotten it. The whole point of adding that little variable there. Okay, so build an update, so either it doesn't have the right value or the monster was never set to -1. Now that I think about it, I don't think I ever instantiate this class. Okay, so selections dot oh, except I'm doing this in the wrong container, aren't I? Okay, well. Should be in the play container. Oops. Alright. Now that code should actually run. And hopefully we'll see a -1 up here. Okay, good. That means that they're linked up. That'll just help in debugging down the road. Okay, so now I need to... There's a couple things I need to update. First, I need to figure out how I'll actually get the selection button event. And then I need to figure out... And then I need to update this mouse pick. I guess I'll do the mouse first. Okay, I want to rename it from event, but... Let's just call it to map mouse pick date. I guess I should rename the file too. I'm not sure where it is.
Listen.
Okay, right here. Probably should move it into a separate, like out of this namespace, but I guess we can do that later if I need to. Just because I think I want this namespace to be only code that's used during the selection phase, but this will probably be used other times as well. Yeah, so I guess I might as well just go ahead and do it. Let's put it in the main map namespace for now. Okay, so again, I'm not gonna try to like encapsulate these values because that's not the point of this class anymore. This class really is not going to have any logic, it's just going to contain this information that other classes will put into it.
Listen.
So let's change this to select nothing. Okay, I don't want to debug this, so I'll go ahead and put that uncommented and get rid of all this cleanup that's from our old event system. Okay, so this is good to go, but now where's the class that actually fills out this information? I think it's, yeah, the mouse pick raycaster. I don't really know why it needs the terrain. Oh, because it needs to get the owner blocks for a triangle.
Drop.
That's fine, I guess. Okay, so what is this? It translates a UV. Yeah, that's not actually used, is it? Okay, I guess before I don't even remember what that was for, but I guess in the old terrain system, I would check where the owner, or what the owner of a certain block was based on the UV or something, instead of the triangles. Okay. So... this can stay. Okay, I I'll go ahead and do this now. I guess. Okay, so I think the reason I have the select raycast is because it runs before the rest of the input. Because normally you want input to run before any logic that depends on it so that the logic can be as responsive as possible. Okay, so that's why I did that. Go ahead and resolve these new mouse objects. So mouse pick and okay, so this needs to go there. Okay, and it's complaining because this raycaster isn't set up to use events yet, so I need to do that. I just need to have it inherit from flow logic container. I couldn't remember the name. Oops, I don't know if you could hear my dog barking at something. Not in the room today, but okay, so now it's complaining that I don't pass it the event queue in the constructor. That's easy to fix. Okay, and what else I need is the mouse pick state. And also the terrain. Okay, so trying to decide, do I want to have a separate class that contains this triangle owner information so that I don't have to get a reference to the terrain generator for that? I don't know. It probably doesn't really matter that much. So I think I'll just leave it how it is. If it ever is an issue later, I can change it easily. So what's this complaining about? Map mouse pick to mouse position. Oh, I see. So this is the mouse position. Okay. Let's rename that then. That's something else I'll need to update. Okay, and then these field layers just for the collision so we can tell what type of object the raycast hits. Okay, I guess this object isn't updated anymore. Okay. Yes, I guess the namespace was confusing it, I'm not sure. Get rid of that, that's from the old system. I think everything else here works except I need to update this mouse position class. I'm not sure where this is updated. Okay, so the mouse input updater. Right now I have it in the main game, but I might as well. Yeah, because this camera might not always stick around. So Yeah, I think okay, let's actually move these two just to be part of the map, and then later for lobby or whatever, we can have our own mouse tracker. Thought it was going to auto-complete that for me. Okay, so the mouse position, that's fine like that, but here I need to get rid of some of this stuff. And for now I will just grab the camera main, but I don't know. If that's always how it will work, because we might have multiple cameras at some point and you might want to be able to choose or anchor the mouse picking to a different camera. Okay, so this also does left and right click. I guess probably fine. I mean, I could just make this an input updater because all this is really simple. Okay, and so this will also need to be a flow or inherit from the flow logic container. I just need to pass that up. What's it complaining about? Okay, there it goes. Okay, so now I just need to figure out how I want to deal with this input. Okay, for the so let's just change this instead of just being a class just for the mouse position. I think I'll just change it to be a bunch of different input buttons. Okay, so this will be mouse screen point and then mouse. Oh, actually, instead of just editing it like that, I should probably refactor it so I don't get a bunch of errors. Oops, I didn't want to capitalize the beginning M. Okay, and so then I can also just have a couple booleans in here for left, click, apparently. And okay, I forget, is mouse wheel, that's a float, isn't it? Okay, so change this to input. So now these will just be booleans. A lot of times we'll actually want to check whenever this value changes that frame. So I might make a some kind of input checker for that. Okay, yeah, this is the Unity's input system. Just going pretty simple for now. At some point we'll probably want to have other buttons that you can use and even like key mapping, but a bit too advanced for right now. So now I've got input, so I should also resolve and bind that. Okay, I see why this was separate, because I have a separate input and mouse input. But I don't think that actually matters that much. Does it? Select raycast doesn't... Okay, I think it used to matter because whenever an input event happened, it would fire out immediately to all the game. Or to the entire game, but now what happens is it just like signals that something's happened, and then any object that cares about it deals with it when its turn comes in the ticking list. But I think I can get away with just having single input. Okay, the select raycast needs to go afterwards because it depends on the mouse's position. Okay, so yeah, nothing that needs the input state should run before this, and I don't think anything here will, so we should be fine. Okay, so now the question is, do I want to have like an event whenever left click is pressed? It probably would be useful. Or whenever left, yeah, the state changes. I could probably have a different class for that. Okay, I'm trying to think of the right word for this, so I guess input event creator is fine. I was thinking like firer or event queuer doesn't really sound right. This would be okay. Well, it can't be a separate class. I guess I'll just need to go back into the ticking priority and add something else for it. So it needs to run after the input updater, but before everything else. I don't know, is it really... okay, I kind of like them being separate classes. Because it will simplify both of them. Okay, so I need the input state. Let's change it just to input. Okay, so for now I'll just have an event for left click. If I need other ones later, it will be pretty easy to add. Okay, so class, left click, triggered. And yeah, that's it for that. I could have, maybe this would be a better way. I could just have like a button triggered event and then like an enumeration for the actual button. I think I'll do that. Call this input simple button. Okay, and I'm gonna do the simple button just means that the button can either be on or off, as opposed to like the scroll wheel, which you can either scroll it backwards or forwards. Okay, so I could make this even more generic if I... Oh, let's not try and get too fancy here. Okay, so all I have to do is check if last left click does not equal... Oh wait, no. So a button is triggered when it used to be unpressed, but then it's pressed this frame. So I need to check that last left click is false and input dot left click. So if this happens, I'd want to fire off a new simple button triggered event. And I'll queue it immediately because I want things to respond to it this frame. Okay, and I'll pass the button. Okay, and then the last thing I need to do is just update this last left click variable. I think that's it. Now I need to register that new class here. And I need to create a new priority, like I said, so it should run after input. But I do have to have a separate priority because I need to guarantee it runs afterwards. Okay. So now, okay, well now I've actually updated both the mouse picking and the input, so I think that's all I need for the monster selection. Okay, so what I want to do is add a new well, I should do yeah, I need to listen to all events of this type because I want to catch the one for left mouse button. So let's do this way. Okay, well, I was gonna do some fancy logic there, but I don't think it's really needed. So on button triggered. So simple button triggered. Just call it E for event. So if we're in choose monster and the button is left click, then we do this. Oh yeah, I guess I need to make these lowercase as well. There's another error somewhere, but I don't see the red dot. Oh, here. Any more errors? No, I think we're good. Okay, no, there was something else. System type, a variable is expected. Oh, right. Gotta make those lowercase. Okay, now it's compiling again. Glad to see that my internet seems to be more stable today. At least that's one good thing. Alright, so if I move this out... Okay, I was gonna say we should see the raycast debug line, but obviously something is not set up. But if I click... Okay, so nothing's happening. Let me see, what have I done wrong? Did I forget to instantiate something? Oh, I don't think I... Oh no, I did do that right there. I've got the input state. Okay. whenever something is selected, it should debug it out. Or that ever happen? Fresh screen. I'm just looking up because it should have like a mouse pick thing at some point. Whenever it's first created, which I guess would happen whenever the map generation phase is entered. Oh yeah, right here. So mouse pick none. So at least the object is created, but never gets updated. Oh, you know what? Okay. I used the wrong tick here. I have to be sure to use the one without the argument. And I bet that's the same issue with the input updater. Okay, so now we're getting a null reference, which I guess is better than nothing happening. Okay, so let's see. So it's saying input is null? Oh, because I never assigned it. Supposed to be the chill soundtrack, but this song's not super chill. Okay, so now we're doing mouse picking. Block 0 and then none. I don't know if you guys can read this down here, but now it's saying I'm over this monster. And now block 8. For some reason it switched to none for a little bit right there. I bet it's just because maybe the raycast length is not long enough. So yeah, you can follow this line. Well, I can't really. The line in the editor, and it'll tell you if something's selected. So it turns red for monsters, green for tiles, and then black for nothing. For some reason, it like goes through the world right there. So it might be an issue with the terrain. Well, it's obviously an issue with the terrain, but I don't know, maybe one of those triangles is wound the wrong way. See if I can replicate that. It seems like that triangle. Okay, I think it's all of these border triangles are wound the wrong way for the collision. Well, not all of them. Just some of them. But I don't really want to wade into the terrain generation right now, so I'll just write myself a note. I thought I actually finished all of this. I'll just write something. Test mouse picking on X borders. I kind of stopped in the middle of project on the train just because I needed a break from it, but I can't remember exactly where I was, but that's okay. Anyway, that seems to work. I I should have just clicked on a monster and see if it would have let me progress. Anyway, if I click here, yeah, we got an event. Simple button triggered. And if I click here, yeah, so we attempted to choose monster 0. I guess it didn't succeed. Or maybe it did and I just didn't fire an event. Oh yeah, that's it. I didn't fire an event. So I guess I already created the complete event. Thing handles that just yet. Okay, here's what I was looking for. Yeah, so I already created all these different classes. I just need to hook up the correct thing here. So, select monster manager. Dot complete. So it's on monster chosen. Okay, so when I do this, it should change to selecting an ability. For that, we're going to need to bring up that UI window again, which is really ugly right now. At some point, I need to go and update that UI. I don't know when I'll do that. But anyway, so fired complete. Okay, so now it's choosing an ability for player 0. If I click anymore, yeah, it won't select that monster again, which is good to see. Okay, so remember, okay, so I need to first have this ability usable cache. What does it do? Okay, so it just remembers if a certain ability is usable. Because I think, yeah, at the beginning of a turn, I just queue a bunch of Lua calls to see which abilities are usable for every monster. This just stores them. But I guess I can look at the select ability manager. See what's involved here. Flow, logic, container. I don't need any of these messages anymore. Now I just need to grab these different objects I need and pass the events up to the parent class. Okay, and there's nothing interesting here. Okay, so I need to register a new listener for the choice selection state change. Okay, that's what it was called. So just at the beginning, when we first enter that, we just want to be sure to cancel out the ability so that we don't leave in old values. So if state dot ability. Okay, and then we'll have like a back button. I don't think I have anything ready for that just yet. I guess we could just do... Oh no, right click isn't right because right click usually is used to bring up more info. But I probably could just do escape. I'm trying to look here where I actually handled that before. It might have just gotten deleted somewhere along the way. Okay, but regardless, I need to listen for event, or what's it called? Button triggered. On button triggered. Okay, so if we're in phase, then okay, so this is actually something else, isn't it? Because here we're actually waiting until we get some event from the interface that a button has been pressed there, like a interface button instead of a keyboard button. Really, this class does very little. Oh yeah, it's gonna complain because I don't have an argument for the event. Okay, so I'll need a new one here. I guess let's just call it back or cancel. I don't know. Back's probably better. Okay, so for here, since we can either go forward or backwards, I'll need to have 2 complete events. Let's just keep the same wording and I'll just call this back event as well. So all I do there is just queue a new back event. And then this, we set the ability, and I don't do any validation of it, but I guess we can trust the interface. Maybe we shouldn't, but I do right now. Okay, so now I just need to subscribe to those 2 new events. Okay, that hooks all that up. So now even without implementing anything else, I think I should be able to switch back and forth between ability and monster mode. So right now I'm in monster mode, so if I click that, and we go to choose ability, so now if I press... Oh, I was gonna say if I press escape I should go back, but I haven't actually hooked up that input button yet. Okay, so I need... Tool, back... well no, let's just call these like what the actual key is, so escape. was gonna bring up the enumeration for me. Okay, so now for here, like what I was saying before is I could maybe like clean this up a little bit by having like a list of every button that was pressed last frame instead of using a bunch of booleans. I might do that if this starts to get really messy, but for now I think I'm happy keeping it simple. There's nothing more annoying when you're trying to test a new system that, oops, did some new key I didn't mean to. When you're trying to test a system and some other supporting system is actually causing an error. Also, I think I'll get rid of this debug log. I don't need it right now. My light's gotten really dark. Okay, so now I'm in select monster again. And I've switched to choose ability, so if I press escape, it should go back. Okay, no it doesn't. Oh, because I didn't set up the select ability manager to actually be created. And I always forget to do that. Should be actually the play controller that does this. Okay, there we go. Very good, so I selected a monster. Okay, I was wondering why this showed up twice, but it's because two different objects are watching that event. But now if I click on the monster again, it won't select it. If I press escape, okay, it goes back to choose monster. And so I can click on the monster again and it goes back to choose ability. Guess I should be watching to make sure that the state updates as well. So right now it says monster 0, and if I press escape, it should change to -1. Yes, that is all working. Okay, so now what I need to do is, first off, I need to update this class because it will want to call the Lua script for every ability and monster combination to see which abilities are actually usable at the beginning of every turn. And right now it's kind of complicated, but I don't think... I mean, I think I can simplify it a lot. Actually, I already have a class that does something similar. Where is it? A little different, so I don't know if I want to just use it. But I think I'll keep it up here for a reference. Okay, I think I can get rid of that though. Okay, so this It caches the whether an ability is usable or not. I will need this. I guess I should update it now. I don't really need this separate key because I can just use an int vector 2 for that. Or vector 2 int. Okay. So really all this is a dictionary that stores whether or not an ability is usable, and it should clear. Okay, and then this actually stores the memory, which I don't. Is this ever cleared? I need to clear it like at the end of a turn, actually. Okay. Okay, so this does exist. I still need to. Well, it'll. Okay, well, it's gonna update now because this is gonna cause an error, so I might as well just add this in now. So I don't forget it. Okay, this is in. Election. Is that the? Well, I guess that's the right place for it. Probably. I just remembered. During map generation, all this stuff is also dealt with because it needs to like regenerate the game from a save file. And I think I don't actually clear this cache, which could cause an issue. Let me see. Okay, Ice Boy, glad to see you back. Yeah, so at the start of every turn, I should clear the cache out. Okay. I don't really like this code having to deal with that, so maybe I should add it. It should happen when the memory is not needed anymore, which I think. Okay, I haven't actually made that class yet. Okay, so should I write a note for myself? Oh, we'll get to that point eventually. Okay, I think. Yeah, I'll definitely remember to do that because it will cause an error otherwise. But I guess if I'm going to do that, then I don't actually need this class unless I want to move it. Guess this could be the class that clears it. I need that. I don't need a whole phase for it. Okay, I'm making too big of a deal of this. Okay, I'll just leave this here and I'll mark it as obsolete. And I'll just write a note for myself. Okay. clear ability usable memory cache after executing all get action scripts. Okay, so I know that has nothing to do with what I'm actually working on, but it just popped in my head. I'll just leave this up here, I guess. Anyway, okay. So yeah, back to what I was doing. This, I don't think I actually need this because I'm pretty sure that the ability usable Lua collar takes care of inserting into the cache for me. Yeah, store memory. Okay, so I don't really need that anymore. I need to have the choice phase. I can type. In the battle for the current state of the game. Don't think I need anything like this, but I do need a list of all currently running call helpers. Okay, so this open call helper is what actually does all the magic to call a Lua script. So I just need to have one of these for every Lua script I want to call, and then I can set it up so that it will automatically deal with all of the... Well, used to it was kind of a pain to call a new Lua script, but I think I finally figured out an easy way to do it. Okay, so now an easier way. Let's just have this generate the constructor, that way we won't have to type this all out. I also need to add the event queue because it doesn't take into account what I need to send up to my parent. Okay. So, need to listen for when we enter in start of a turn. So, I guess event this listener turn phase change. Yeah, because when we enter in a certain part of a turn, we can call this because the game state won't change at all until actually until all the actions are executed, which won't happen until the next turn. So if state what is this? Oh, okay, it's action sequencing. I thought using that might cause an issue. What I actually want is the play state. There we go. Play state. Oh, why did capitalize that for me? Okay, so the turn phase, we want to start executing all these. Not during initialize, during player selection. Otherwise, we'll want to stop all that we've been doing. So let's have a helper function with this. I guess we're running. That's not gonna work. Call and running. So call withdraw, which just removes this call from the Lua system. And then I can dispose it. I guess I could just dispose it because disposing of it also withdraws it. Then we would clear this list. Because the thing is, every turn we can't guarantee that every monster will have the same ability, so we need to like regenerate this list at the beginning of every turn. What I'm gonna do here. Let's actually. That's what this. I was gonna say have a helper function to create all of my open calls for me. What this does, I think. Okay, so let's generate calls. So I want to, for every monster and player. Okay, so that's interesting. I had to have this call count, I guess, to know that they all returned. Don't need that anymore. Okay, why do I... Okay, so for some reason I only figure out if ability is usable for a specific player at a time. I might as well just do it for all players. Player ID equals 0. Player ID is less than battle players count. Okay, and then for every monster and oh, do I? I don't actually care about the player now that I think about it. Because this ability usable. This only cares about the monster and the ability, not the player. Okay. I think before, yeah, for some reason I called this only for a player at a time, which I'm not sure why I'd want to do that. Okay, so monster ID and battle monsters. Oh, that's not the right way. Right syntax for this. Okay, so for every monster and then for every ability that that monster has, we would want to create a new call. So running, add new call helper. Oh yeah, and then I need to have a reference to the open calls class, which just is the actual link to the Lua system. So let's just add that in here. Okay, so I need to set up a few variables here. So first of all, the arguments that we actually want to send to the Lua script. Oh wait, I'm confused. Yeah, I don't set this up, I just need to call this function, actually. Okay, I forgot about that. So yeah, I don't have to worry about any of this. So Lua caller. Then I just tell this to call for a specific monster and ability. And then it will generate the first arguments and everything else. Okay, so I have it set to 0 options, but I know that's not true. I want it to be able to at least do... Oh, I was gonna say at least do pathfinding, but I guess that's by default. Definitely no ability options or actions. Got none of this stuff, so I guess... Well, I might need a stat request. Should I allow that? Yeah, I think so. Although, let me see. Okay, well this might be a little annoying to do during map generation, but we're already going to have stat requests that we're going to have to do during map generation, so it will turn out okay. Well, I guess during map generation you want to do a stat request because you already know everything, so should be okay. Anyway, so we call generate calls, and then for every call in running, we'd need to start it. Or does this already do that? I don't think so. No, it just generates the call helper. Okay, so don't need that. So this state cache, I don't think I should clear it now because we'll want to keep this around to check for cheating when we get the selections back from the server. So let me write a note as well. So clear ability usable state cache after... Gosh, I can't type. Can't find the T key actually. Checking for cheating in the selection phase. So yeah, basically if we get a selection back from the server and one of the players chose a monster to use an ability that it can't use, then we know that something's up. Okay, so yeah, this is just checking to see when a Lua is done, a Lua call is done. Okay, so let's see. If play state turn phase is selection. Okay, so we'll need to check if all of them are done. Well, probably what I want to do here is actually insert things into this cache immediately as they're complete, because we'll want the interface to update as soon as possible. So let me see. So I can check. So in other words, I'll know if everything's all done if the running list is empty. Okay, and since I might delete things from the list, I should iterate backwards. Okay, so if... Let's just do this. So if call.is complete, that's a function. Okay, so now I'll need to check first that there's no error. And if there's no error, then I'll want to store this value. So how get the monster and the ability actually from this usable arguments. I might as well do the same thing here. Let's do it this way. So vector2 int get monster and ability. There might be a better way to do this, but I just figured okay, we already have this information in the argument sent to Lua, and since that's already stored, why try to grab this or store this data somewhere else? Also, this value can't be changed by Lua, so we don't have to worry about that. Okay, so int, or wait, it's vector2 int. Equals, so Lua caller get monster and ability. And so I'll just need to store this. Oops, I can't do that. Okay, so how do I... Oh, so it's in the result. I delete that? I wonder how I got the result. Is it just... It's a return value, isn't it? Okay, so I guess well, I don't really want to... Okay, I was saying that I could just have the store state function, but the thing is, this class wouldn't have a reference to that cache all the time. But I guess I could make it so it does. So store state. Private selection cache. This will be usable cache. I guess I could just also store this in the memory cache. Well, I don't know if I want to do this. Well, that would be one less cache I'd have to worry about clearing. Even though they'd clear at a different point, it's about the same because I won't need this usable state afterwards. So let's see. So I want to clear the memory after all scripts have been executed, and I want to store this or clear the state after cheating, but the state isn't used in between this and when the memory would be cleared, so I think it really doesn't matter if I do them both at the same time. Data state. And so I just need to have one other thing here for state. I don't need to check for that. Although, I guess I do. Well, I don't really have to do a try get because if it's unknown, then I just return unknown. So this is a little simpler. Okay, so anyway, I guess this class I can just mark as obsolete now. Okay, so I was, again, just making things too complicated. But again, I'd want to get this. Guess I should have a helper function that will store that code so I could just use it once. Look at monster and ability from call and out. Monster out ability. Oh, I forgot the type. Track of time. Well, since I started late, let's go ahead and finish this up, at least. Okay, so monster equals Lua args, and ability equals Lua args. Okay. Now I just have to do all that stuff with the Lua arguments once. Oh, but I guess I have to get it for the memory anyway. Well, that's okay. This is a little inefficient, but I think for the sake of code cleanliness, it's worth it. Although, I guess now I don't need to store these. These don't have to be two separate functions. Okay, so I made this more complicated than it'd be. Okay, so probably the set from usable should just have the table and the ability usable state, because I'll always know both. Okay, so now need either of those functions. So yeah, if I don't care about the state, which does happen, then this is going to be a bit of some extra code, but I think it's okay. Call dot turn value. I'm going to need to reference this a lot, so I should probably grab it actually. I don't think this can ever be null, but in case. So here we're just trying to interpret a string value that's returned from open call. So I don't think I want to throw an exception. I would just return unknown and then whatever cares, we'll throw an exception after that. What's this complaining about? Name ability does not exist. Oh, I spelled it wrong. Anyway, let's get rid of this. I guess I'll copy it. Okay, so anyway. Okay, well if that's the case, then I actually want to return the update. Let's change this to store result. Okay, so we have the usable state. Wait, yeah, this doesn't care about that. I'm updating the wrong script. Yeah, this is what I want to update. Okay. Okay. So if usable state is unknown, then what's the goal in my game? It's gonna be kind of like a Pokemon battle. If you, like I've always said, it's gonna be, I want it to be a combination of like Fire Emblem, like because it's gonna be on a Fire Emblem type map, but with a Pokemon style little monsters, and I want there to be some team building like that. I could be more explicit here. So I guess the goal in the game would be to defeat all of the enemies. Okay, so I don't have to do anything else. Okay, so here we have another error. So do I have something else? Okay, I guess I need to create another thing. Script. Exception. And I can pass the call dot error type and an error message that would actually give us the Lua exception message. kind of battle system I'm gonna have. It's gonna be turn-based. Like, I'm kind of thinking, basically, imagine the Pokemon battle system, but on like a checkerboard. Kind of my plan. But it'll be more complicated than that, obviously. Because I'm planning to let you be able to like manipulate the terrain, and you'll be able to send out monsters, things like that. Yeah, hopefully once I update all this, we should be able to start testing out some of the battle system. I spent a long time updating the terrain, but I really want to get back to some gameplay stuff. So I might try to like switch between doing graphics and gameplay every couple weeks or so. Or not, maybe every week, I should say. Need that stuff, I don't know where I left it. Okay, so yeah, we just listen for the turn phase, and I guess I'd want to throw an event to say that this state has been updated. So that way the interface can listen to that. So class, ability, usable, update. And I guess I just have monster ID and ability ID. So I could do this queue immediate, but oh, now I do need to know the monster and ability from this Lua all. Let's just do this public direct results monster ID, public int ability ID, and then public ability usable state. So we'll just return this structure. That takes care of that. And ability, I guess I could pass like the actual usable information, but I can just grab that from the cache. What's it complaining about? Cannot convert from usable update to event. Oh, I forgot to tag this as an event. Okay, so yeah. And the last thing I need to do is remove this call from the running list, which I guess I'll just do up here. Okay, so now at the play subcontroller, let's add this in. Usable. Okay, so I kind of think we're gonna have some error, but let's just see if this works. I probably won't be able to debug it today just because I'm getting hungry, but we'll see. Okay, did it actually run anything though? Okay, because it changed to It's player selections. Usable ability computer did react to the event, but didn't actually. Well, it might have made some calls, but never sent out any events that they were done. No, I used the right tick. Oh, the wrong thing again. I do use the right one here. Oh, I don't actually add it to the running list. That's silly of me. Okay, actually let's do it this way. Well, no. Okay. I was gonna say we should add them to the disposable list, but actually no, because we're gonna be clearing them every once in a while, so if we dispose, we'll also want to call clear running. Right, so let's try this, and I want to get it to where it actually calls the events. Hopefully there won't be any errors, but we'll see. Okay, no, it looks like it's fine. Oh, there were some play exceptions. Yeah, we can see right here, but I guess I don't actually print them out. Okay, but anyway, I think I better stop it here. It's getting pretty late. So yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, a bit of a shorter stream and a late start, but as I said this morning, it was just super... Everything was going wrong, but that's alright, we got through it, and we got a pretty good amount done, so... But yeah, I'll be back tomorrow, be at about noon Eastern. If you want, feel free to follow me here on Twitch, and then I also have a Twitter where I will always tweet when I go live. If you missed any previous stream and you'd like to catch up, maybe see like how the system used to work, I have a YouTube channel where I upload all past streams, and finally I have a Discord server, and I'd love to chat with you there. You can get links in chat or check out my video description if you're watching on YouTube. And yeah, I think that's about it from me, so I'm going to grab a bite to eat, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye-bye.